Good morning, everyone. It is early here on a Friday, and I'm having a dilemma. I had a dilemma. So, this is a dilemma and a statement on behalf of my family and the Spot Cafe. I need to give you some background history about this dilemma and statement that we're about to make. But so please listen to the whole thing before you pass judgment. Yesterday, well, first of all, I need some background story about a church in the area. So the Chino Hills Calvary Church, ran by Mr. Hibbs, um, which is a very conservative pastor who's gotten involved in politics. Some of his members have taken over the Chino Valley School District and the board there and have passed anti-gay policies, outing policies, book bans, very conservative. I've reached out to both Mr. Hibbs and Sonia Shaw, the president of the school board, and asked them to meet privately. Neither one of them have returned my calls. And if you want more about them, Google them. But I'm here to talk about us and what happened to us yesterday. So we do at the Spa Cafe that my daughter runs, Devin. We do a lot of charity events. We do 2 or 3 of them a week, where somebody will say, I want to raise money for my kids' dance team. I want to raise money. We don't really judge or quantify who we're going to do these fundraisers with. Basically, we give them the space. If they come in and eat, we give 40% back to the organization. It's a fun way for these organizations to raise a little bit of money. A group that identified themselves as the Pink Ladies reached out to my daughter and said, we want to do a dine-in at your restaurant. My daughter said, what is the cause? And they said, we are raising money for breast cancer. And my daughter, whose grandmother just died last year of cancer, my mom, her grandmother, was all for eradicating cancer. Yesterday, we were at a Lions meeting about 2 hours before their event was supposed to start, talking about how to eradicate measles, because that's the type of things that me and my family want to participate in. And on Facebook, I got an alert that someone had checked into the spot and tagged us. And I casually looked at my phone, and this person had tagged us and the Chino Hills Calvary Church. And so I was like, well, in what world are we getting tagged in the same post? And I went on to Facebook in the middle of the meeting, and I saw that the Pink Ladies is actually a women's organization within the Chino Hills Calvary Church. And my heart dropped, because I was about to host an event in my space and give money to an organization inside an organization whose main purpose is to strip me and my family of our rights. Mind you, this was around 2 o'clock and the event started at 4. My daughter's 26. She heard we want to do a fundraiser to eradicate cancer and said yes. But what do you do? I still don't know if I made the right decision. But I want to live in a world where I treat people the way I want to be treated. So we had the event. We raised not very much money, about $200. And we gave it to them. And I hope the money is going to cancer research. But the fact that I'm crying and the fact that I was put in this position sucks. And it sucks because we should all have certain things that we agree on. We should all agree that eradicating cancer is important. And here's the difference. And here's why I wanted to set the example. I have reached out to Mr. Hibbs and asked him to have me on his podcast and explain to me his views and hear my views on me and my family and why he should stop attacking the queer community. And he's refused to allow me into his space. I've asked Sonia Shaw to sit down with me and have a private coffee and a conversation about how her policies are hurting the queer community. And she has refused to meet with me. There is no universe that if I needed a space to hold an event and I asked that church if I could use a space to hold a queer event, that they would allow me. But when you needed space and you needed a donation and you needed money, churchgoers, I did it. And that's the message I want my children to learn. We have in the cafe, well, yesterday in the cafe, we had a very large pride flag hanging inside the cafe. So their event was underneath a pride flag. I think the thing that kind of stuck to me was a husband and wife came in, and the husband immediately pointed to the flag. And she acknowledged it, and they went up to the counter, and she ordered. And he sat there, and you could tell he was deciding whether he hated cancer or queer people more. Because if he bought a sandwich, he was going to be supporting a queer business. But he also was going to be help fight cancer. He chose not to eat there. This is the world that Mr. Hibbs has created in my community. That you would rather you hate homos more than queers, the queer community, more than you hate cancer. I don't know if I made the right choice. I don't know if people on my side are going to understand why we went through with it. But I refuse to allow this hatred to be a part of this hatred. Screaming at each other doesn't work. When Mr. Hibbs stands on his pulpit on Sunday, he gives speeches about how queers are the end of the world. He gives speeches about how trans people are mentally ill. He gives speeches about how wokeness is destroying America. He puts hate into the world on a weekly basis. And this is what happens. We can't even come together on something as simple as eradicating cancer. But when I stand on my pulpit at the Pride Center, I spoke of love and I spoke of compassion. The queer community has a right to exist. We do not sound on our stage and say that Mr. Hibbs doesn't have a right to believe what he believes. We do not say we want to go into his church and dictate how he practices his religion. We do not say that we want to go into his home and tell him how to raise his children. But on a daily basis, he tells us how to raise our children and tells us that we are tolerated. It isn't about religion. It's not about love. It's not about compassion. At this point, it's about power. It's about control. Him trying to control us. And it has gotten so bad that I don't even know if they understand or see love anymore. I don't know if we don't have a common ground that we need to eradicate cancer. If we can't even agree on that, where is the humanity left? So yes, I had the event and I hung the pride flag, and they had the event in my space under my flag, and I wrote the check because I'm not going to be part of the problem. I'm going to be part of the solution. And the solution is always love. I didn't realize that I used the word homo a couple times here. And I apologize if I've offended somebody. But this is a live video. Very emotional. Besides that, I'm taking back the word queer. I am. Because it doesn't mean we're bad. Quirky doesn't mean that we're bad people. And I'm tired of people sitting here attacking my community. Yesterday, I went to a meeting where we were talking about eradicating measles worldwide. That was the world I wanted to live in. I've gone on too long. I love all of you. This is why I made the decision I made yesterday. So if I have offended anyone in my community, you now know my reason. And to the members of that church, I will always have an open door and an open dialogue. I just want that in return. Thank you.